With the latest Heritage Distortion collection from Doc Martens for fall of 2020, they are bringing new leathers, which they're calling the Atlas leathers. So I have the 1460s right here. There are a 1461 as well as a Chelsea. I haven't seen the 1461s in the store yet, and in the Chelseas, I haven't seen them pop up in the US, but I have seen them in the UK site and Japanese site as well as the European site. So look out for those. Right now it's early September, so things are kind of getting into motion. Personally for me, I absolutely love what Doc Marten's doing for the fall of 2020, and I'm not really surprised because fall and winter fall and holiday is usually the best. It brings out all these darker colors and it kind of preps us and ramps up for the holiday season, so you know they're kind of placing all bets on what they can put out there. So the Atlas leather, it's interesting. I'm quite a fan so far. So it is a Pascal. So they're a 1460 Pascal. Typically, they do combine those names sometimes, and in this case, calling it a Pascal is more of the feel, which goes in line with the 1460 being more of the format of the boot being an 8i traditional Doc Martens. So the leather on these Atlas, the first thing that pops out to me is they're pretty thick. With modern made in Asia and modern made in England, the differentiators have been the thickness of the leather as well as the density of the sole. And I'm finding as time's going on that the lines are getting blurred. We purchased a pair of made in Englands, mainly for modern made in Englands, mainly for the collaborations that they do with these fine and popular leathers like the Hornween as well as the CF Steed, and these are things that they could do on a shorter run. What they do in the Cobbs Lane factory is only 10% of the footwear that Doc Martens manufactures. From my personal experience, the process of creating all their footwear is the same regardless of which factory it is. They have to use the same machines to get the same result. So in Cobbs Lane, there's way less workers, obviously, and it isn't as dense, but I've been there personally, so I have that experience, and I've personally seen videos of the Asian factories, and I would say the main difference is there's probably twice as many workers in the same amount of room. But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily crammed up against each other, because in the Cobbs Lane factory, they have a lot of room. It's like, it's big. When it comes to every station, I would say aside from the sewing stations, they have tons of room. So saying that it's twice as congested is not necessarily something that I think is overdone. So when it comes to the thickness of the leather, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is more durable. The Atlas name is not just the leather, but the process of the leather. So with these two, instantly I was able to get them on and just go. I think this is just the pinnacle of what they're doing with Doc Martens lately, that they've reached this height where they're able to get comfort and just being ready to go. For so many decades, it's been this crazy breaking in process, and they're able to conform to more feet. So more people that love the icon, love the profile of the classic Doc Martens can buy them, and there's less limitations. So with this 1460, it comes in two colors. What they're calling an Oxblood, and then what they're calling dark gray. I'll go into the dark gray in a second, but let's first talk about the Oxblood. So the Oxblood is a term that I find Doc Martens use very loosely. If we go on the site, we'll see plenty of footwear that's called Oxblood, and I will say they vary in color. I would say that these are more of a brown reddish plum cognac. The best that I could compare it to is that there was a collaboration that was done with Needles a couple years ago, that they did a tan or beige suede, they did a black, and then they did a what they called, I'm not sure if they called it, they may have called it an Oxblood, but it was more burgundy, but it's pretty close to that. That's the closest that I can kind of compare it to. Besides that, it has pale yellow stitching on the leather, and then the more traditional goldish yellow on the welt. My favorite part is actually the laces that they come with. It's quite brilliant, and I think that this is part of that name, calling it Heritage Distortion, because when we look at these two, it does feel like something that was around back in the day, and somebody just found these laces to give it more of a pop. At least that's what it feels like to me. The other thing that you'll see right off the bat is that the laces are really long. So typically for an 8i 1460, the perfect size is 120 centimeters. In the store, they don't sell 120 centimeters anymore. You can find some vintage laces. They go 140, so it can fit a 1490, so it can fit a 10i as well, and you can use one pair for both and not have to have all these various of sizes available in the store. But these, I think they're about 160. The intention of them is to wrap it around. Now, besides the laces that they, I guess, are more prominently supporting, which are these pale yellow, flat, thick hiker type laces, they do come with laces that match the leather. So as we see here, these laces match the finish of the leather on the Oxblood, and then we have the same for the dark gray. So speaking of dark gray, to me, these are black. Even the laces that they come with, I mean, these are definitely black. Last year, we had another new leather. It was called the Classico, and it came in a brown, and then came in a, what they call, I believe, a clove. That clove was more of a dark gray. This dark gray, I would say, is a black. So don't need to adjust the color on this video or the color on the website. I'm here to tell you, I'm calling this black. And the laces are definitely not dark gray, they're black. So, there you go. So, when it comes to the naming and how this all works out, I would say that it's more personal to your own interpretation. The grommets on here, on the eyelets, so the eyelets, grommets, the hardware is black on both. So on the Oxblood as well as the black. The sole density is what we would come to expect on a modern Doc Marten. As I said, they were really good to go, very comfortable, and using the same process of Goodyear welt that they do, whether it's in the Cobs Lane factory in the UK or one of the Asian factories. I love these shoes. So I first saw them, somebody was selling them on eBay. I don't know how they got them. Perhaps they were overseas. Maybe they had some kind of connection. And that's how I ended up searching for them. So getting the name, even though once you see them, it really doesn't matter, but finding the name could help you locate shoes and more than kind of describe what they're about. So I looked up Atlas and it took me to Amazon page, which was very interesting because it said that it was temporarily out of stock, which told me that they actually existed before, but I never saw them. So I'm pretty up to date on seeing all the styles that come out, at least for several years, and I didn't know them. So I was on top of it and kind of obsessing about them for a long time. So when they finally showed up, which I believe I spotted them at first on the UK site, which is pretty good investigating, I was really looking forward to them coming in the US and kind of antsy. So they popped up in the US and about a week later they showed up in stores. I got these in my local store. My main stores here, well, actually the only store here is the one on Market Street in San Francisco, which is where I am, and on Haight. Haight is kind of considered almost like a flagship store. I think it was the third store that they had, and it's a fantastic shop. People there are so kind. It's always a good time at the Haight-Ashbury Doc Martens shop. So, Atlas from the Heritage Distortion collection in black and in Oxblood. Available now. They're not a limited release, so they'll probably refresh at least once before they go away or get retired as usual, and all styles do. But it definitely pays a fantastic tribute to our beautiful and beloved 1460. If you liked the video you just saw or wanted to add something to it, go ahead and click on the like and the comment button down below. Also, if you wanted to keep up with all the videos that I create, subscribe, and then once you subscribe you can tap on the bell and then you'll receive an email, so you're always kind of in the know. I mean, you watched it, right? So I guess you liked it. You gotta tell the algorithms what to show other people and what people are interested in. And besides that, I need validation. I need to know that I'm making something that people actually enjoy and want me to continue making more of, right? What do you think, Cherry? Yeah? Think they should do it? Yeah, she thinks so.